Hey there puzzlers, my name is FLEB, and today I'm going to be continuing my journey to solve the 4x4x6 Fisher cuboid by solving this puzzle, the 3x3x5 cuboid. Now, in this series, what I've been doing so far is solving these puzzles without looking anything up on the internet. I can use algorithms as long as they're from previous puzzles in this series that I've solved. This one, for instance, I think is going to use a lot of techniques that I used on two previous puzzles. The 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube for the algorithm generation, and also the 2x2x2 cuboid, here. Now the way that we solved this before is we solved the inner part like a 2x2x2, and then we solved the last two layers. And so I'm going to try that with this, except the middle has to be solved like a 3x3x3. So without further ado, let's get this mixed up. Since this is a shape-shifting puzzle, we do need to actually do a bunch of shape-preserving mixings before we do any ones that break the actual shape of the puzzle. And the reason for that is when you turn a layer like this, these pieces are actually locked in. They can't turn. So if you don't do the shape preserving mixing moves first, then those will just always be in the right place, and we don't want that. We want to make this as hard as possible. So okay, now let's move on to the shape shifting moves. And you can see it's starting to look a little strange, but this isn't going to be so bad, I don't think. Okay. That looks pretty mixed up to me. So without further ado, let's get started. In order to solve this puzzle, I'm going to try to solve the inner 3x3x3 first. So let's start by getting this first layer. I'm going to try to ignore the pieces on the outside. So for example, this would be like a corner, so I'd want a white and green piece to go in there. That piece is here, so let's bring it down, bring it around the puzzle, put it into place, and then put it back up. Now there should be another white and green piece with the little edge part here that we can put in as a corner there. Let's see if we can find that. It's here. This white and this green piece there. So to turn that into place, we just turn this, and now that's in place. If I turn that green center to match with this, you can see the next center over here is going to be a red piece. So we're going to want something that has a white face facing up and then a red piece on the side. So this actually right here would work. Let's put that into place, bring it down, put it into place, bring it back up. The opposite face from green is blue, so we just need to put these pieces in a different way, and that should complete the first layer. So bringing that piece into place, and bringing it back up, and then doing the same with the other piece. There's one white and blue piece left here. Much like solving a 3x3 Rubik's Cube, we bring it into place. And so we have the first layer done, if we just think about that as a single layer. Now we need to solve the second layer. I've lined up the centers, which don't move relative to each other. And I'm going to be putting in a piece here. And that's just going to be the same 3x3x3 algorithm that I've used before when solving the second layer for 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube. If you do that, when that piece is in place, there's actually a piece that sticks out. And so there should be another one that should go here. I think it's this piece here. So bringing that over and using that algorithm from the 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube. It's a little hard to turn. Puts that in place. Now we need to do the same thing for the other side. We have a green piece here that has an edge piece attached to it. So I'll try to line up this way. That actually doesn't line up, so I've done that in the wrong way. I have to bring it around to the other side, actually, like this. Using that same algorithm puts it into place, and doing the same with the last piece as soon as we find out where it is. It's right here. Oops. Bringing that around, putting it in. This solves the first two layers of our middle 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube. We're just ignoring the pieces on the outside right now. And so the last thing to do is get the last layer done. We have corners and we have edges, but there's two different types of edge pieces. There's the type that doesn't have a piece attached, which have to go with these two faces, and the type that does have a piece attached, which has to go to the outside faces. So let's start by orienting the corners. And by corners I meant edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap the positions of these two, because that green edge needs to go here. That's just a 3x3x3 algorithm. Right, up, right inverse, up, right, up 2, right inverse, up. What's interesting is that these also are not oriented at the moment. We can actually fix that by putting them in a different way. So the way that that works for a Rubik's Cube is an algorithm that's something like this. This is, again, just a 3x3x3 algorithm. And now you can see all the edges are oriented, and they're all in the correct positions once I turn this around. Now we need to finish putting the corners in correctly. As you can see, they're currently twisted. One way to do that is to use a 3x3x3 algorithm. So R prime, D prime, R, D, 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 R prime, D prime, R, D. Just keep doing this. D. Okay. So that has fixed the orientation of one of the corners. We still need to fix the orientation of these two corners. So R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R. We actually have a problem. These are actually swapped right now, and that's why this is mismatched here. So we actually have to swap the position of these two corners. You can see that this is what essentially happened here, is this has been rotated in. When that happened, it revealed that these are actually in the wrong position. So I need to just keep, I will fix this, and then we're going to swap the position of those two corners. You might notice that in the 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube, actually swapping two corners is impossible. So something seems like it's in its wrong place here. And what I think has happened is I think that basically these two need to be swapped. We can't tell which position one of these places has to go in versus the other. So if we swap them back, it should fix the parity error that we have up here. That's my guess anyway. So I'm going to do 3 edge swaps, and that'll swap the two of these. And then we'll take it from there. Now you can see our corners have changed a little bit now that we've swapped these two edges. We have 3 corners which seem to be in the wrong position. So let's try to fix that. This is just another 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube algorithm. Up, right, up inverse, left inverse, up, right inverse, up inverse, left. And that should do it. We have 2 corners that are out of orientation, so once again let's fix them using the 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube algorithms. R inverse, D inverse, R, D, R inverse, D inverse, R, D, R inverse, D inverse, R, D, R inverse, D inverse, R, D. Then move into the other corner, doing the exact same thing. And there we have it. So the middle 3x3 is solved, which, because these are attached to the pieces below them, has actually fixed the shape of the cube along with that. The last thing we need to do is tackle the remaining 2 faces. This is going to be the orange face, this is going to be the red face, so let's just solve the orange face intuitively. Now the trick here is that we can only use shape-preserving moves, or I'm going to try to at least. And the reason for that is that I don't want to mess up what I've already done. So here I have a blue and white piece. There's an orange and blue here. So I can turn that around to line those two up, move it out of the way, and turn it back. And that'll preserve the middle. Next I'm going to put the orange and white edge piece in here. The way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to bring this corner piece down. And I'm going to turn it once and bring it back up. So now it's in the wrong position. Once it's in the wrong position, I can turn the whole thing around and have it line up with that piece. Turning it back to the right position lines it up with our previous piece. Here's our blue, yellow, and orange corner. It's coming up, going back down. We need to line it up with this orange and yellow piece, edge piece there. So we take it down, put it in the wrong position, bring it back up. Now it can line up with this piece. We put it back in the right position, bring it back up. 3 more pieces to go. These 2 are actually already in place. So the trick is going to be getting that last corner. My strategy here is I'm going to bring these 2 pieces down and then try to line up the corner with them. Bringing the pieces down and bringing that corner back up. Let's see what we can do. We have to put that corner in the wrong place, like we've done before. I think that's what I'm missing here. Now it's in the wrong place. We can line it up, so we have a row of 3. Putting that into place completes that layer. And so we're 1 layer away from completing this. Notice that all the pieces are automatically oriented, because you can't actually change the orientation of these end pieces, because they're attached to the piece below them. I've gotten very lucky here and my edges are actually all correctly positioned. I'm not sure if that happens every time, but it seems to have happened this time. So the only thing I need to do is do 2 corner swaps. If I'm able to swap these 2 corners and those 2 corners, we should be done. So I'm going to create an algorithm that swaps 2 corners, then I'm going to turn this all the way around and undo that algorithm, just like in the 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube video. Alright, so let's begin, and I'll try to be better about using WC notation, but I might mess it up again. So we need to swap these 2. Every time I move R, I can't stop in the middle. I can't do a quarter turn. So I'm just going to call it R. And also, someone pointed out last time that R is the same as R prime. So I'm just going to call it R. Alright, so let's do this. R, D prime, R, takes that corner off. Now I'd like to put this back into place. So D prime, R, D2, R. So now this corner is off of this top part, which just has the 2 red pieces from before. The next part of this, I'm going to try to put it into place here. So how am I going to do that? Well, L, D, L. Actually, I can probably put that into place with that move. So let's undo this. L, D prime, L. I think I missed an R here also. So D. That'll put this in the right place, then we bring it back down. It'll swap off with this. So now we can try L, D, L. See, now it's lined up. D. Then L, D2, L. So that puts that other corner that was here on the bottom layer into place there. And the last thing we have to do is put this back into place here. So that's going to be something like what? Well, we're going to want to, when we bring this down and bring it left, we're going to want this to be there. So this piece actually needs to be here. So D prime, R, D prime, R, D, R. D prime. Instead of doing a D there to turn it into place, I'm going to do a D prime and turn it out of place. That will enable me to then do an R, D2, R. And now it's in place and all the middle is also the same. So this has messed up our bottom, but as long as we reverse the algorithm, which we're about to do, that should be fine. We're going to be swapping these two now just by reversing what we have here. So I'm going to write the reverse string of what this is. You probably can't see it on the camera, but I've reversed the string exactly there. And so if I do this right in this position, this should solve everything. So let's hope that I've done this right. R, D2, R, D, R, D, R, D. Alright, that should take a corner off, yep. So the second part here should not put that corner over here, if I've reversed it correctly. So L, D2, L, D prime, L, D prime, L, which it does. And now this third part should put the remaining red corner that's here on the bottom in this top part here. So D prime, R, D2, R, D, R, D, R. And there you have it. The puzzle is solved. This puzzle used a combination of techniques from both the 2x2x4 cuboid and the 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube. And I think it shows that if you learn easier puzzles, you can start to use those techniques to break down harder puzzles. If I started with this puzzle, I don't think I would have been able to solve it right away, or it would have been very difficult. But actually, with knowing how to solve those two, this wasn't too bad. Next time, I think I'm going to tackle the 4x4x4 Fisher Cube, and that's going to be a really tough one, I think. I think it's going to force me to learn new techniques. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like, subscribing to the channel, or following me on Twitter at FLEB Puzzles. Thank you once again, everyone, and as always, happy puzzling.